Hi, everybody. It's Elektra, and I'm back today. Today, we're going to talk about how you can make an impact in your field. It sounds like a very monumentous, difficult thing to do, and it is. It requires a lot of responsibility and ownership and accountability on your part. But once you start to get the wheels in motion and you adopt this mentality of being big and being great, everything will happen through osmosis and will happen naturally. So I'm going to give you 3 tips that I want you to implement so that you can make an impact in your field, disrupt your field, and be big. So the first tip that I want to tell you is something that, like I said, requires a little bit of introspection. I want you to really think about what your mission is. What is your mission as a creative professional or as an artist? I really want you to think about it, identify it, and write it down. Sometimes I think when we write things down, the words kind of come to life and really force us to live up to those words. It's one thing when something is in your head and it's very conceptual and abstract, and it lives only there, right? It lives in the one dimensionality of your head. But once you actually put it to pen and paper and you externalize that mission, or you admit to yourself what your mission is, you'll be that much closer to working towards what that mission is. So you really need to think about what is your mission as an artist. Is your mission to create educative content to help women make better decisions about their careers? Or is your mission to create a mind-boggling audience experience in a gallery? What is your mission? It can be something very personal to you. It can be something that is very broad and very big, but you really need to identify that in order for you to start to make an impact in your field. Because if you don't identify your mission, you're kind of going to just go rogue and be all over the place, and no one's going to be able to really understand what you're doing, and you yourself won't understand how you can make that impact on your field. So number one, identify your mission. Write that mission down so that it lives outside of your head, it lives external to your being, and that it forces you to be accountable, to be responsible, and to own up to the responsibility of carrying out your mission. Tip number 2, execute that mission. Make sure that you are actually creating, experimenting, trying, doing all of those things. You need to actually activate that mission. And it might sound overwhelming and it might sound a little bit difficult to do, but it's really not, because you really should be in the experimental phase of the execution of your mission. No one is saying that it needs to be perfect. No one is saying that you need to present a finalized finished product, but I want to see you experimenting, and I really want to see you be accountable for your mission. Only then will you be able to streamline your vision and identify the different outlets where you can promote and put forth that mission. Your third tip. Your third tip today is actually the easiest out of all of these 3 tips, because sitting down and writing your mission is extremely hard. It requires you to be really personal and really honest. Actuating and making that mission come alive requires you to experiment, requires you to fail and to not be afraid of failing, and requires you to be curious and fall in love with what you do all over again. So the third part is really, really easy, and it's actually the fun part. It's the least intellectual part. And this is what I call be seen and be heard. So you can do that in a variety of different ways, and I talk about them all the time. It's the same information that I'm giving you day in and day out. I just want you to get it in your minds. Be seen and be heard. And the easiest way to do that, and the easiest way to get over that, is to start doing videos. Start talking about what you do, start performing what you do, start actuating what you do, start doing all of these things so people can see you and people can hear you so that you can be top of mind. You want people to start to identify you with what your mission is. Be seen, be heard, be top of mind so that people know what your mission is, who you are, and what you do. Once you start to have a voice within your field and not just a voice within your small group of friends, your small group of people, when you start to have a voice beyond yourself, that's when you're making your mission. That is where I want you to be. That is great for your career. That is great for your field because all these different creative fields need different voices. And that is great for if you ever want to start to monetize off that brand or get an extraordinary ability based green card. So I'm going to recap these tips, but like I said, they're a little bit difficult in order of progression. So the first thing I want you to do is identify that mission. Hold yourself accountable for what your true hopes and dreams are. Number 2, create, activate, actuate that mission. Number 3, be seen and be heard. If you want to make a dent in your field, if you want to change and impact your field, you need to be heard. And you need to be heard beyond what your group of friends are, what your family is. You need to be heard within your field. And these fields are very, very competitive. So it's not like, you make one video, it's going to go viral. It might happen, but that's not going to make a dent in your field. It might be that you need to show up and be there every day and write those articles and continue to experiment and continue to put out work. But at least you're on the path to making a dent in your field, making an impact in your field, and creating a name and a brand for yourself beyond your circle of family and friends. When you start to live outside of that bubble, that's when you start to have real power. That's when things become really interesting and you can start to monetize, you can start to brand, and you can start to make a difference, which is what you want to do ultimately. I hope that this was clear. I hope this follow-up today's talk is really going to motivate you, like I said, to identify that mission, have ownership and responsibility of that mission, fall in love with your mission, fall in love with your artwork, fall in love with it all over again. And once you've gone through those stages, be seen and be heard. It really is like falling in love, because when you're in love with somebody or when you're in love with something, you just want to shout it out to the whole world. You want everybody to know about it. And the same enthusiasm, the same oomph, the same fervor needs to be done for your career. So identify the mission, create, fall in love with your mission, be seen, be heard, make people aware of who you are and what your work is beyond your circle of friends. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you will implement it, and I hope that you're not going to be afraid to fail. And you should be failing. You should actually be failing every single day, because that experimentation, that creation is only going to help you refine your work and become more authentic in your craft and develop stories for you to start to connect with people off, because that's ultimately what's going to help you make an impact in your field. I hope that this was helpful. I will see you back tomorrow morning at 12, and we will continue our conversation on contracts. So thank you, everybody. See you later today. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Where's my head?